Well, thank you very much for joining us for the news review segment on the show. It's a brilliant Thursday morning. Thank you for joining us. I have this morning the Ghanaian Times, the Business Finder, the Chronicle newspaper, the Daily Searchlight, and the New Crusading Guide. And of course, the two musketeers. I always do it together with Mamavi Usu.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning.
Yeah, I was just deep into one of the stories in
you got lost in
the
there.
Daily Heritage. I was just catching up on the #1 case, but I'll keep our viewers updated. So hello there, if you're just joining us. This is a review segment of our show. I've got the Daily Graphic, Daily Guide, Daily Heritage, and the Daily Statesman. All daily. So you start?
Let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper, and on the front page, of course, talk about that fire that gutted the Kantamanto market, leaving some 2,592 traders with their livelihoods destroyed. 2020 presidential results gazetted. WAEC releases provisional BECE results, and go to Supreme Court, IDEG, and the CFI advise. So those are some of the stories there. I just wanted to highlight this one, though, on page 3. That says, man stabs brother to death over election results. You heard me right. And a man is supposed to have stabbed his brother to death following a misunderstanding between them over the results of the 2020 general elections at Swami in Kumasi. Identified only as Amido, the suspect was said to have stabbed to death his biological brother, Izzuddin Awal, 30, after an argument ensued over the election results on Monday at about 11 p.m. How bad can it get? Election results? I know it's tearing families apart because I know families that have, supporters or that support both ends. But to the point of murder? Anyway, that's it with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. All
right, let's do the Daily Heritage next on the front page. NDC not against media, says its election director, Friye Ankara. Also, Supreme Court throws out Trasacco over case against Topkins Limited. PEC to regulate private education in Ghana. Government backtracks on Public University Bill 2020. Mount Crest launches scholarship fund to promote equality and inclusion in legal education. That's how it looked like. But in the center spread, quite a number of court cases, all high profile. So just an update on that. And I'll start with the case involving NAM1. The Circuit Court in Accra, presided over by Her Honor Evelyn Asamoah, has adjourned the case in which Chief Executive Officer of Men's Gold Ghana Limited, Nana Appiah Mensah, has been arraigned for defrauding to January 2021. At the last court date, the presiding judge was on leave and the case was adjourned to December 16. So yesterday in court, the case was called. The judge was present. Prosecution led by Assistant Superintendent Police Sylvester Asari said investigations were ongoing and a lot was being done regarding the case, so he wanted to take a date. Defense did not raise any objection as the court adjourned the case. So NAM1 was in court, and the paper is suggesting that this may be the last time he would be in court in 2020. He was initially charged with abetments of crime, defrauding by false pretenses, carrying on a deposit-taking business without license, sale of minerals without license, unlawful deposit taking, and money laundering. It is alleged that the accused had taken various sums of money totaling 1.6 billion Ghana cedis from customers. So that's the update on this case. Let's do the Mfantsiman NP. And it says prosecution in the case in which 8 accused persons who have been arraigned in the robbery incident that led to the death of the Mfantsiman Member of Parliament, Kwanzaa Hayford, has submitted their evidence for forensic analysis. The accused persons have all been charged with conspiracy to robbery, but have denied any wrongdoing. So more of what went down in courts on Wednesday. And then here's another one. The High Court in Accra, presided over by Justice Lydia Osei-Mafo, has ordered the Regional Legal Aid Director to act on the court's order by assigning a lawyer to defend Daniel Esiedu and Vincent Bosu, who are standing trial for murder and conspiracy to commit robbery. Now, this is the JB Dankwa Edu case, and that's the update for you. So the two have been held The charge is murder of the former Ebuakwa North Member of Parliament. At the last adjourned date, the court had tasked the registrar of the court to inform the regional aid director to appoint a lawyer or a lawyer aide from their outfit or from outside to represent the accused persons. If you've been following the case closely, then you would know that his earlier lawyer, and as the papers put it, I think that day, had abandoned him. Okay, so 3 high-profile court cases, and that's the update there for you, picked from the Daily Heritage newspaper.
Let's quickly move on to the Business Finder. It says banks' assets, profits triple between 2016 and 2020. Then Veep Tours Kantamanto fire scene, hints of new market. Of course, that new market supposedly would, be made of more durable, fireproof material, at least something that would not be so combustible or go so easily up in flames like we saw with the materials used for the Kantamanto market. Then speed up work on Ofankon Sawam Road, that's according to the minister. But 2 main stories I'd like to highlight from here. The first one on page 7, actually, e-waste messy touching lives of thousands. And in Ghana, we have that unenviable, ignominious position. When you think about Bublushi, for example, one of the things that come to mind, e-waste. It's one of the most polluted places on planet Earth. And with what is happening here, supposedly the lives of over 6,500 scrap dealers and their dependents have been impacted by the electronic waste recycling project being administered by the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation and its partners. Now, in summary, Secretary of the Greater Accra Scrap Dealers Association, Mr. Mohammed Ali, said in the last few years, the association had been working with MESTI and the German government to discourage the burning of electrical cables and other electronic waste. The burning of the hazardous waste, Mohammed maintained, was injurious to the environment and to inhabitants of the Agbogloshi township and its environs in Accra. Now, if you picture this situation, you'd also realize that, this would impact a lot of young people's lives. And yesterday, as I was in Kantamanto, the sewing section, knitting section that went up in flames, there was a gentleman prevented in a way from taking very good videos of him, but he was one of those scavengers, scrap dealers, in the thick of things, trying to scavenge from the industrial sewing machines that had gone up in flames, been destroyed, and in the process, because the fires had not all been, brought under control, he actually got burnt. He had to be rushed to hospital. So this is the reality. And there were so many of them there. If I'm not mistaken, I could have counted 50 to 100 of them there. So this is the reality for some of our young people. And of course, this will go a long way to aid them. When you go to page 13 this morning, AngloGold trains 40 journalists to report effectively on mining. I'm only taking this story because looking across the board, it would appear that in our media space, especially in the print media, we seem to have very little specialization. So some 40 journalists and information service center operators in the Ashanti region have benefited from a 3-day training on reporting on mining and related issues organized by AngloGold Ashanti, Ghana, or Boise Mines. The workshop facilitated by LD Consult was under the theme covering mining amidst COVID-19 and political campaigning. So those are my picks from the Business Finder newspaper.
Let's do the Daily Graphic. Front page, use judicial means to address electoral grievances, 6 presidential candidates tell Mahama. And this was in our AM News. You'd see the candidates on the front page, Ivor Kobna Greenstreet, representing the CPP. There's also Kofi Akpalu, Dr. Henry Latte, Hassan Ayariga, David Apasera, and Jacob Osei Yeboah. And then there's running mates of an independent presidential candidates. That's Jacob Osei Yeboah. Also, Akufo-Addo gazetted president-elect, and I saw the dates for the declaration, for the for the gazetting yesterday, and I was like, oh, so whilst everybody else was talking, this had been gazetted like 10th of 7 days, a week ago, really. Also, BEC results out. I'll be sharing some details with you.
Before you go, education and the BEC results, without the gazetting, you can't pursue any court process. When it's officially gazetted, then you can pursue the matter in court with certain processes, else the courts might not even take a look at you. So I guess that opens the door as well, like IDEG is saying to the NDC and the rest. If you want to pursue the matter in court, then that is the place to go.
Well, plenary consideration of public university bill suspended. Pay attention to food products. FDA warns consumers ahead of Christmas. So the bit about the BEC results, all is not well, really, because if you look at the statistics, we got a higher number compared to 2019, but there are also results that have not been released yet. There are those that will not be released because of some malpractices. So out of the total number of candidates who initially registered for the examination, 1.59% did not turn up. The total figure of 531,707 candidates. Okay, so the percentage is 2.78%, and out of that, we're told that 1.59 did not turn up. So it's higher than 2019. And fast forward to some of the cancelled results. So 44 candidates, they've had their result cancelled. 44 of the candidates who sat for the basic education certificate examination. Additionally, WAEC has also cancelled the subject result of 417 candidates. So 44 results cancelled, subject results of 417 candidates, and that's for bringing foreign materials into the examination hall and engaging in collusion. And this was contained in the statement released by WAEC. There's also another thing in that statement that I want to share. WAEC had withheld the subject result of 997 candidates pending the conclusion of investigations into various cases of alleged examination malpractices. What it means is that they might release based on the outcome of the investigations, or it would be withheld. So that's a bit of the update. Okay, there's more to that. You can read about it. I think there was also another story, but let's do the back page of the paper. Government will support Kantamanto Market fire victims. That's according to the Vice President who was there yesterday. We're told some 2,500 persons have been affected. Those are livelihoods, by the way. And then Ofankor and Sawam Road being repaired in time for Christmas, says the Roads Minister, who did an inspection tour. Listen, it is so frustrating when they decide to do those repairs at a time like during rush hours. You can stay in the traffic sometimes for like 2 hours and you're almost home. You are almost home, but you're not getting there because of, this is not the major one. This
almost,
is not the Pokwase interchange. This is not the interchange. Has nothing to do with the interchange. We appreciate it. There's another leg of the project, which is way ahead of Pokwase. But the time that the contractor decides to do the works is very disturbing. And I wonder if this can be done before Christmas. The traffic is too heavy when you're going home and you're almost home. Maybe I should look for him. We'll have a conversation. Yeah.
You got to get personal, huh? Are you done with that paper?
I think so. I'll try and find some more stories and share. Maybe, no, just hang in there. There was a story in the center spread of the paper that I thought I would share, of the Daily Graphic. Okay, so there's a piece. Please find time and read. It's by Cameron Duodu, and it says, oh, easy, but why? And there's a bit about it. I absolutely love it, where the writer says, in a charged atmosphere like this, the last thing one would have expected would have been the EC chair would make the slightest mistake in her declaration of the results. It isn't the fact that the mistake did not affect the overall results that matters. What is important is that the EC ought to have been so thorough that no possible mistake could have occurred anywhere in the EC's declaration. For we do live in an age in which fact-checking has become doubly essential in everything. And he goes on to cite the US case where somebody won an election and became president through a certain system, but 4 years on, he is And he says lion, lion, and lion, about the same system that got him there.
It's very interesting, that very point, because when, the transition then in 2016, when Donald John Trump became president, the words he had to say at his inauguration about how warm the Obamas had been to him and how they had facilitated the process. Interestingly, you look at the process 4 years down the line, and Biden has been, stifled when it comes to information flow, so many things that you look at the disparities in the transitions and ask yourself, what happened to that experience? Why don't you give that same experience to the next person?
Wait till you're on the losing side, you know how it feels like.
It's about being a sore loser. And unless you don't understand, in life you can't win it all.
Yeah.
You win some, you lose some.
Absolutely.
There are days when you have good days, other days you have bad days.
Power is sweet, eh? You know the kind of power and authority that comes with being president?
I think we all, and it's a human thing, like has been said, that aphorism, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. You just need to watch yourself and not get too swollen-headed.
Oh, just one final thing in the graphic, the FDA talking about food safety, especially around this time. Here's what I will add. Be careful with the promotional items. When they say buy one, get one free, or sometimes the price is, say, 50 cedis for one, but around this period, you find that they're doing 3 for 50. Be careful. Check the expiry. Check the expiry. All right, Ben?
But that's also not to say that any item you see out there.
Oh, I said be careful. Check. Those are keywords.
Don't think that way. But of course, very valid concerns. Be on the lookout for expiry dates. The Chronicle newspaper, Tema MCE escapes attack from NPP supporters over loss of seat. And this is an interesting one. Inward attacks, and you didn't live up to expectation. I've read and seen quite a number of these. I think, though, that while you explore those avenues, you ought to let the systems work. Like I said, you can't win it all. Don't run away from Supreme Court, IDEG and others, tell NDC. Parliament not in a rush to pass public varsity bill. Oh, Zah. Okay. All right. But this one got my interest. Not very positive story. It's on page 9. And there are pictures of an alleged situation where a jealous man acid-bathed his ex-lover and mother. And I am just wondering what propels people, pushes people, acid on another human being. I mean, what would, jealousy? I really don't know, but you must have a very callous, I don't know who did this, the suspect is here, one Nanaya Mante, but I feel anyone who does something this animalistic, inhuman. It's so sad. You should see pictures here. I wish I could let you see, but maybe you should grab a copy actually of the Chronicle newspaper. But very, very sad, really sad. I don't know how you can capture that, but very sad. Look at that. And can you imagine the agony she would be going through? I mean, just picture it when even you get burnt by a candle. And look at the images here.
So that's,
and I feel when the suspect is indeed apprehended, and if proven culpable, he should really face the full rigors of the law.
So that's daughter and mother?
Yep.
Is that it? All right, let's do the Daily Guide newspaper. Front page of the Daily Guide. EC Gazette, Akufo-Addo president, Kantamanto market gutted. Bawumia visits scene. Nam1 case still under investigation. Fomina MP declares for NPP. Greater Accra Ashanti parliamentary results in the papers today. So that's how it looks like. Front page. On the back page, we will fight for the cup, says who's Ghana's black satellite coach, Abdul Karim Zito. He stated that his team has come too close to clinching the Wafu B Cup of Nations in Benin. More sports stories, but we've got sports right after the review. So I'll leave that for Oriko Ampofo to fill you in.
The new Crusading Guide, so stories that we've already taken a look at, but Gifty Frimpong ordained as youngest pastor in Assemblies of God. That's an interesting one. But I decided to focus on the international front, and Mackenzie Scott ex-wife of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, has donated more than $4 billion, that is £3 billion, to food banks and emergency relief funds in 4 months. Now, in a blog post, Ms. Scott said she wanted to help Americans who are struggling because of the pandemic. By the way, she divorced, the Amazon founder, the richest man in the world, not too long ago. She's the 18th richest person. And this year, she's seen her wealth climb 23.6 billion. But guess what? She's spending lots of those billions helping other people. Maybe an example for the moneyed people in Ghana, especially as Christmas approaches. Freely you've been given, freely give. That's what the Bible says. That's it for me with the New Crusading Guide. All
right, the Daily Statesman will be the last paper that I will take a look at. On the front page, banner headline, I won Fomina for my party. Amwakwesi Ama confirms intention to sit with MPP in Parliament. See, the man says his blood, his everything, his DNA is MPP. And he said he was winning for them, so he is sitting with them in Parliament. Mark Mado, the campaign manager of the NPP going into the 2020 election, says that they are ready to face NDC in court to defend Akufo-Addo's win in the just-ended exercise. That story is in the paper today. Cantonment fire affects over 2,500 traders. Vice President, this closes. If you go to page 3, transition team receives handover notes from 54 state institutions. They've submitted their handing over note to the government transition team to help in the discharge of their duties. They include 40 ministries and department agencies and 14 regional coordinating councils. The Office of Administrative General will in turn forward copies of the report to Parliament, Chief Justice, Council of State and Public Record and Archives Administration Department according to law. The rest of it, you can check it out and read on.
The Daily Searchlight is my final newspaper, and I'll skip all the headlines because the other ones we know already, apart from ICOM's blocking leakages and increasing revenue according to the GRA. But when you turn to page 9, 43,000 NPP supporters did not come to vote at Medina elections. That's according to a report. Now, just ask a question. Does it mean the electorate in Ghana is becoming more politically savvy? What does that really mean? We know the dynamics in Adenta and Medina. Yawabena Samuel losing out, Boniface Sadiq also losing out, the likes of Ramadan and lawyer Francis Xavier Sosu taking over. But I guess we all can read between the lines on these ones to find out what exactly is happening in the Eastern region, examples in the Volta region, in the Ashanti region. I guess we're making strides as a country. Well, that's it for me for my papers.
All right, we're getting ready to do myjoyonline.com for you. But one of our colleagues, a lady who would sometimes make me up, Eugenia Baden, it's her birthday today.
She's
a
all of us
artist.
up. She makes all of us up.
I'm being selfish here. It's Eugenia's birthday today. We want to take just a minute and celebrate her. She's a great woman and a great mother. Eugenia, happy, happy, happy birthday to you. May you live long, blessings, and surprise us with some lunch. That's Eugenia right there. It's her birthday today. If you know her, kindly give her a call and wish her a happy birthday. One of our makeup artists, Eugenia Baden, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Eugenia. But did he just say she should surprise us with lunch, or are we surprising her?
No. She should surprise us with lunch. That's what I said.
You're playing the typical Ghanaian where you are celebrating and people are asking you to.
Charlie, I'm bread.
Anyway, so are we checking out some stories online?
Yes, we're getting ready to that. So that's myjoyonline.com open right there. So presidential candidate urged Mahama to concede or go to court. Benny, it looks like you have to help me with the rest of the stories.
Well, is it clearer now? EC releases pink sheets for presidential election. Traders count their losses after Kantamanto market fire. Professor Atuguba threatens to lead impeachment against UTAG over public universities bill. There's also Parliament suspends processes on public universities bill after meeting with stakeholders. Former President Mahama says, I won't incite people to destabilize Ghana's peace. And Akufo-Addo's 2020 election victory gazetted, like we've brought to you this morning. I see you on the BBC. Maybe we can check some of that. I'll do the trends, and it's a wrap.
Okay, so this is the update on the Nigeria school kidnapping situation, and I'm reading this from the BBC. It says more states in northern Nigeria have ordered all schools to close following last week's kidnapping of hundreds of pupils in Katsina State. Kano, Kaduna, Zamfara, and Jigawa have followed Katsina, including schools following Friday's attack. The Islamist militant group Boko Haram has said it was behind the raid. We know that more than 300 children are still missing, raising fears of for the safety of other schools, especially those in remote areas. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Union of Teachers has threatened a nationwide strike unless the government urgently improves the security situation. So that's the update there from Nigeria on the kidnapping situation. And more schools, we're told, are also closing down. Yeah.
Right, so let's do this. And some 3 hours ago, my Los Angeles Lakers, I'm a fan though, wherever LeBron James goes, wherever the king goes, I follow. And of course, they've started with the preseason games. They've been thrashing the Clippers. There's a third game coming up. But overnight, they beat the Phoenix Suns 112 to 107. That was trending at number 10 some 3 hours ago on Twitter. But currently, trending on Twitter, you have, so there's Jack, and I'll tell you which Jack. It's all football at number 8. There is Liverpool at number 3. There is #YNWA, that is You'll Never Walk Alone at number 2. And then Mourinho at number 1. So let's take a quick look at Jack. Now, Jack Harrison, Screamer, against Newcastle. That is for Leeds United. Mama Views Wabaji's Leeds United.
Sometimes
trending.
Sometimes I forget.
Sometimes you even forget that you're supporting Leeds United. Then there's, but do you remember the famous Ghanaian who played for Leeds United way back when?
Mas, I don't know.
And he has some memorable goals.
As for Leeds, the Bintia. Otherwise, I know nothing. But I think it's their coach that I like.
Okay. You'll Never Walk Alone is also trending, but finally there is Mourinho trending at number 1, and it's because of that loss to Liverpool. In fact, there's a picture there of a fire service tender that seems to have been cut a little, and the caption is Mourinho leaving Anfield. Last one, when you park the buses for 90 minutes